I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but I also felt like I owed it to myself to find out whether or not. I felt like it was a lot of push, like, when you're extending yourself beyond, but if you don't extend, you don't know where you're capable of, like what you're capable of. So I really, at that time, I guess I wanted to push myself to really test what I was capable of.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you found out many times over. Many times over.
Scary.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Modern Figures Podcast. We have a great and amazing guest with us today. We have Gloria Katuka. She hails from Zaria, Nigeria. She's currently an applied scientist at Microsoft, where she develops and evaluates speech-related AI services on Azure AI platforms. So about her education, she has a bachelor's in information systems from the University of Florida. All her degrees are UF. She has a master's in computer science, a master's in information systems and operations management, and also a Ph.D. in computer science. She literally just graduated, like fresh into the work world. And she did all this in 8 years. 4 degrees in 8. That's 2 degrees per year, girl. What we doing?
A lot.
Not sleeping.
So she's also contributed to several computer science and artificial intelligence education projects, designing and developing engaging and collaborative learning experiences for youth in both formal and informal settings. She's worked at Symantec, that's now Norton LifeLock, Intel, Coursera, and currently now Microsoft, as well as in the past, in her free time. But what is free time? Because she says she doesn't sleep.
What is it?
She enjoys science fiction, action, and comedy TV shows, books, including The Expanse Researcher and Abbott Elementary. One time for Quinta. Amazing.
Yes.
She also loves watching basketball, football, and soccer. So welcome, Gloria.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I am in awe. I'm literally in the midst of royalty right now. So
Aww, likewise.
So sweet. That's
Yes.
so sweet.
So this is such a crazy moment right now because, we're interviewing Gloria, and the very, very first time I met Gloria was the day that we were recording episode 13 with now Dr. Kyla Braswell. And Kyla hadn't even started grad school yet. She hadn't even told people she was thinking about going to grad school. So fun story. Kyla went to North Carolina State University, and, we had a little bit of time to kill before we recorded. And there was a faculty member from her university that was at University of Florida. And I said, let's just run by her lab and see what's going on, see what she's doing. We go by the lab. That only person is in there. I'm like, there's a Black girl in there. I've never met her before. And mind you, the person we're looking for is not there. But I'm like knocking on the door like, Black girl.
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
I 100% could see you doing that.
Absolutely. And Gloria, were you still in your undergrad at that time?
No, I
or
was
were
in
you
my
in
master's. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Gloria introduces herself, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you were here. Like, I was just so excited to see her. She was just so nice and friendly. I was like, if you need anything, just talk to me. Oh my gosh, you are here. I thought I knew all the Black people that were in our computer science PhD program. So that was how I first met Gloria, literally while taping an episode of this podcast. And then she was like, I don't know if I'm going to stay at my program. It's just so hard. Everybody want me to work so much.
It's crazy because I remember that day vividly because in my lab space, there isn't that many Black people, but I've heard about Black people. Like, I knew who you were before I met you.
Heard about Black people.
Because that was the thing that attracted me to the department. Like, they had the majority of Black faculty, women. And so it was like, wow, this cannot be real. And so you were like the person that made it real for me, like seeing you. And I remember because I got your email, your Calendly on a notepad. And I put it on my screen, and I scheduled a meeting with you, if you remember.
Yep, I remember.
And I was on your couch, and we were talking about all the struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether or not I was going to do the PhD, because I was like in between the decision at that time. So yeah.
And I was like, girl, you better do it. Like, you're already in the lab. You're doing the research. There is the funding. You have the advisor. Like, all of the puzzle pieces were there.
Yeah.
You were just like, oh, but do I want to? I mean, and that's a valid question because it is an investment. So I'm glad you stayed the course. And now we get to have you on as a guest.
Me too. Thank you.
That's very full circle.
Yeah, so full
I know.
circle.
And I also have to share about my experience with Jeremy, of course. I don't know if you remember, because you presented at, I think, I don't know if it's the Gen X or the HCC event. And then I followed you and I messaged you, and you were very gracious to meet with me. If you remember, we sat down, we talked. And honestly,
there were a lot of tears.
Yes.
Everyone cries when they talk to me. I don't know what that is about me. Like,
because I was struggling. I was struggling at that time. I was struggling with relationship with my advisor, figuring things out. There were so many things, and you were just very honest. And honestly, I still remember our conversation, because that helped me make so many decisions as to how my relationship with my advisor was going to build on, and how, I remember you telling me that I needed to make her my advocate and not just my advisor.
Yes.
And I held on to that up until today. So thank you for that.
Look at me being a mentor.
I know, right?
I'm so happy to hear that, Gloria.
Yes.
This is so great. I'm so happy that we get to interview you today as Dr. Gloria.
Right. And I'm glad I got your contact info, because I had to stalk. I forgot who I had to stalk to get your phone number.
That is surprising. I mean, Candace,
Right.
anybody,
Yeah,
I'm like, why?
That's true. Yeah, you got a good point.
Okay. Enough of that. So now you know how we know each other. But we want to know about you, Gloria, and like how you ultimately made it to Dr. Katuka. So
Wow.
if you would kind of start in the beginning of like what it was like growing up in Nigeria, in northern Nigeria, which I just learned a lot about, you guys. So tell us.
Yeah, I would say, I kind of will break it down into different eras. So I said there are different eras of Gloria. So the pre-US era, which was in Nigeria. I was born in the northern part of Nigeria, a city called Zaria in Kaduna State. It's predominantly Muslim, but my family were the minority Christians there. A very different experience growing up, and especially when it came to education, education was not a priority for lots of people, especially for women. And coming from a family that, but my dad was not educated at all. He had to drop out of school early to raise his siblings. And my mother, he did encourage and support my mother to get, like post-secondary education. So she had a diploma. But that was it. And they had 8 kids. So that was a lot.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
7
Where
boys.
do you fall in the line?
I'm the last, and I'm the only girl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a struggle. So it was just a lot. And everybody was telling me that as the only girl, it was a waste of time to, you know, put me in school. Like, why am I doing all of that? And he was very adamant about it. He put his foot down, even when the schools would not accept me, like at all. Because apparently I wasn't smart enough to get into the schools that my brothers were smart enough to get into.
Wasn't smart enough.
Yeah.
Right. Got it.
That was their excuse. And then he ended up finding a school, a private school, which honestly, up until this day, I don't know how he afforded it, because I think my tuition was like half his salary.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, he put me in that school, and it was just kind of the beginning of my experience with education. And I decided at that point that I would do whatever it took to kind of pay him back. So that was how it started. And then
That's sweet.
moving forward, a few years later, my brother, 2 of my brothers ended up coming to America. The first one came in through a basketball scholarship and attended an international boarding high school in Florida called Montverde Academy. And then eventually long story short, there were some issues with where I was living, and I had to move away from home. And then the school was gracious enough to give me financial aid and move me to the US. Basically, all of that happened in a few weeks.
Oh, wow.
Weeks?
Yeah.
That's a lot. How old were you?
I was 14.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
First time getting on a plane. First time basically leaving my country, and I was heading to America.
What were you thinking? Like, what was going through your head? Like, as you're getting on this plane, presumably you're by yourself, or Ooh.
I was 100% scared, and I was 100% excited. So I've never had those two feelings conflict ever in my life until that moment. And I didn't know what I was expecting. I didn't know where I was going. But I was excited because my brothers were already there, and I haven't seen them in the one for 3 years, the other one for 6 years. So I was excited. I was excited to see my brothers again. So it was just a very mixed feelings, a lot of uncertainty. I did not know what to expect.
I don't even want to. That's wild to me to leave everything that you know. So you come to the U.S. Are you living at a school?
Yes, so it's a boarding school. I lived there for 4 years, and I was in this national boarding school, which is in the middle of nowhere in Florida, called Montverde. So a crazy thing.
Oh, I know where that is.
Jeremy's from Florida, so she knows.
Crazy thing is, you see America in Nigeria, you see LA, you see New York, and then I showed up, and it was literally Montverde, and I was like, this is not America. I woke up the next day, I'm like, I don't know where I am, but this is not America. So
it's in Lake County for those of you who are wondering. Yeah.
Is that north?
I got married near
west? There. Where is that?
Well, south of Gainesville,
but north of Orlando.
Orlando, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I've driven past
Claremont area, like that.
Okay, that area.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's literally where it is. So I ended up being there. And then one of the reasons why I came here, because I have to say this, is because of my host family. They were also very worried about me, and they took care of my being in America as well. So then we have a host family, so we go there every weekends. So they signed us up, and because they wanted us out of the school a little bit, because it will drive you crazy. We were all homesick and whatnot. So that was a good experience. And then having them also, so both my host parents, I do have to mention this, they both went to Florida.
Oh,
so
nice.
They met in Florida, and they got married, and so they're huge Florida fans. So I've been coming.
Gators.
Yeah, go Gators. I've been coming to UF since I was in sophomore in high school.
Wow.
Oh, it was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Yep. Yeah.
This is so cool. I'm so excited.
I know they're so proud of you.
They are. They're very excited. I think they're more excited than I am sometimes, and I'm like, oh my God, okay. But yeah, so high school happened. Well, a little bit damper in the mood. And in my junior year of high school, I lost my dad. And I haven't gone back home since I came here. So it was a little bit of a shift in my world. I think it was a huge paradigm shift, if I would say that. And so I kind of lost track of a lot of things. I barely made it through the end of high school. I decided to quit everything. I turned down all the opportunities I had for college. I packed my bags and went back to Nigeria.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And basically went there. Did not know when I was going to come back. I was just gone. And after a semester, I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I need to go back. So then my host mom at that time, she was very concerned about me being back anyways.
Yeah.
And my mental state and everything. And so I ended up coming back. So that spring semester, I went to UCF. So UCF gave rolling admissions. So I applied to UCF, and then I applied to UF as well, because they made me do it. And then while I was waiting for the admission, I went to UCF and took some classes. And actually, that was the first time I took a computer science class, because that was my major then.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. What did you see yourself doing previously?
I wanted to study computer science. When I was in high school, I loved programming. I wanted to do it so bad, and I was always in a situation where there was nobody to look like me, and it just kind of challenged me to do it more. I will do it. Just That's because.
So let me get this straight. So from, leaving home at 14 to going to boarding school to being homesick, you're on your mind like computers. I love computers. Yes. Wow.
That's because when I remember when I first saw a computer, and again, going back, I was in my country, I was 12 years old. I remember I first saw a desktop computer at a lab in the university. I mean, my school had because it was a private school, and we got the opportunity to go and visit like a computer lab in the university. And it was like, I was like, how does this thing work? So I was very curious about how it worked. I wanted to learn everything about it.
That's really amazing. I mean, does not compute. It feels like the accurate description of all of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're taking classes because you basically have idle time, right? Like you can't really start a program in January. Like for those of you who are listening who haven't started college, typically you start in the summer or in the fall. If you start in January, it kind of messes up the sequence of courses.
Yeah.
And for you to be out in 4 years, which is what they're really trying to target now, you can't do it efficiently.
Yeah.
You basically would need an additional semester to be done. Because you're out of sequence. Like there's prerequisite courses that you have to take this course before you can take that course, and they're only offered in one semester.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that I actually had to deal with that exact situation, because when I joined, I skipped. Well, I couldn't take, I guess, the first intro to C course, and I didn't have any background in C. I did Java a little bit in high school, but that was it. And so I guess I skipped the first class, and I only took the spring version, which was, I guess, a second one, so intro to C2 or something. And I walked into this class and it was terrible. It was awful. I did not know what I was doing. Most of the people there knew themselves, and they were all working together, and it was again just me. And I thought, there's no way I can do this. And I barely made it to the end of the semester. I think I got like a B+ or something. It was the first time I got a B. I was freaking out. And like, I'm not doing computer science anymore.
Because I got a B+.
Fair.
There are people who strive for a strong C-, and you're like, because I got a B+.
C's get degrees. Okay. That's what the saying is.
I know. I learned eventually, but at that time, oh my God, it was terrible. So when I was going into UF, I was like, I'm not doing computer science. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. It's not possible. I'm not going to make it. And that's why, like, okay, I'll do information systems. I still get to do IT, but with a little bit of business, because I was going to do computer science and then maybe minor in business. But it was kind of a middle ground for both. And that's how I ended up there.
But then you still ended up getting a master's in computer science.
Wait, hold on.
But before we get to the master's,
I'm just like, information science. So like, did an advisor or did somebody like point you in that direction? Did you know that was a degree program? Like, how did you get there? Because that to me seems obscure.
Yeah, very, very obscure. So what happened was, when I got into UF, when I got into UF, by the way, a couple of steps back, when I applied to UF, come February, I did not get into UF, and maybe Kyla knows the story, but I didn't get into UF. I wasn't accepted into UF. And my host mom actually was like, okay, why? How? Like, my host brother got accepted. Why didn't I get in? And she had to call the admissions. Apparently, they didn't even look at my admission packet at all. Because my high school accidentally did not put the English was my second language. So I didn't have the language requirements. And so my entire application package was put aside. So I actually had to appeal my admission decision.
Didn't know that was a thing.
Oh,
it is.
Yeah, it is a thing. Not a lot of people do it.
Students try to do it, but they don't have a basis for appeal. So it's like, no.
Yeah. So I appealed my decision, and that's how I got accepted.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you. I mean, that to me, like, there's so many people whose stories like would be, that's it. Like they didn't get in, and then they just decided, okay, it's not for me.
You should go back to admissions like, see, See?
Yeah. I should have. I thought about that. And so I felt that way too. I was like, I'm done. You know, it is what it is. That's what the universe wanted to happen. I wasn't meant to go in. I'll stay at UCF. That's fine. But when the admissions got changed and I started in the summer, and we were going to preview. So my host mom and I went to preview at UF. And we were, they give you the packet of all the courses you can do. I didn't even know information systems was a thing.
Oh, wow.
And I was going through the packet and I saw that. I was like, oh my God, it's a combined degree program. I didn't even know that was a thing either. And like, you could do it in like 5 years and everything. And I remember checking out of the entire preview, and my host mom still has it. If you contact her, she has the paper where I basically mapped out how I was going to finish my combined degree in 4 years. I mapped out all the courses I was going to take. Yep. I'm not making this up. And because she always posted randomly because she has it. And that's why I decided I was going to do it. I was like, and I was going to do it in 4 years. And everybody said I couldn't, which is even more fun.
So for people who don't know, preview is like our freshman orientation at the University of Florida. So students come before they start their classes to make decisions about their major, what they will pursue, like learn about campus life, all of the above. So, I mean, it makes some sense, but that's wild. Like that document that you're referring to with all the majors is thick.
Yeah.
You were like, I'm done.
Girl is thick.
I got it.
Right.
Yep.
And you just were like, let me just peruse all 50 pages with size 10 font.
Right.
Yep. That's literally how I found my major. I'm not making this up. Yep.
Wow. Wow. Kudos to you. You were built different. Okay.
For real.
That's all I've learned so far. That's nuts.
Yeah, so that was the thing. And then I ended up starting in information systems. And I remember the first, because I came back to America in January, and that summer, then I started in the summer, and then the next year I was applying for internship, and I actually I started taking classes, and I actually went into the advisors. Oh, another thing. I don't know if this is going to get taken out, but I faced so many challenges in the business school, which again is another part of UF that is not designed for us at all. And
Say more.
Yeah, and it's really not.
Kyla says say more.
It really is not.
Like, for those of you who cannot see my face,
Right.
it was not surprised.
As Jeremy sits back with arms crossed.
Yeah, it's designed for some people, because I actually tested this theory because I was going to take some of the classes I was going to take in my combined degree courses. I would go to the advisor and I'll tell them, hey, this is a course I need to take because I have to take a lot more courses. I'm taking 15, 18 credits sometimes. And they will tell me, no, you can't do it. We will not allow you to do it. And this and that. And then I will ask somebody else that quote unquote does not look like me to go and do the same thing. Because my host brother and I, he's white, my host family are white. We were taking pretty much similar courses, so I asked him to go test the theory, and it's a different.
And he was down.
Oh yeah, very. So it was a very, very different experience.
Wow, he's like, they let me do it. They walked me to class. They bought me McDonald's.
Oh yeah, and so I would get so furious. I ended up like not going to advising, and if I go to advising, I would just come in with all my courses filled out, and I'll just tell them, hey, take this. I'm sorry, no offense, no disrespect. I really do not want your input here. You and not pay my tuition. Like, respectfully, thank you. I know what I'm doing. No,
and also, they don't take the classes, so they don't know what anything's
disrespectfully.
like. Disrespectfully, shut up.
They do not. And it was a pushback every semester because I needed some sort of approval almost every semester to take a course. And so that was just like, I was completely turned off the business school, honestly, off of UF from like the beginning. And I was just so ready to leave so badly. And then I started my master's. I started taking my master's courses in, I guess, what would be my sophomore, well, my third year, so my junior year. So I started taking my master's courses at that time. And it was like a different experience because the undergrad in the business school at UF, as some of you may know, is mostly online because there's too many people and
I didn't know
nobody
that.
goes in.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They were online before online was a thing because there was so many students, a big college, and it's not possible to fit them into any classes. We only came on campus like 3 times a year to take exams. Yeah.
But you just glossed over this. You're like, in my 3rd year, I began taking my master's courses. Who does this? You said it like everybody does this.
She had 4 degrees in 8 years. Okay. Like, we already built different. That's the title of this episode.
Listen, my vote is more degrees than a thermometer.
No. Oh no. I honestly was not thinking about the degrees, to be honest. I wanted a master's degree. That was my goal. My goal was to get 1 degree up, and if my host parents hear this, they'll get mad, but 1 degree more than them from UF.
Oh. I mean, sometimes that'll do it. That'll do it. It did.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna get 1 more than you. And so I wanted to get the master's, and that was it. That was my plan. That was the end of the plan for me. So when I started taking my, I went to intern. I was intern at Symantec, and then I came back. I started taking my master's class, and then I wanted to, because I've always loved doing programs for the community. My passion was always computer science education since day one. So even when I was in undergrad, I was kind of working with a nonprofit. Well, after that internship, I started working with a nonprofit, and that was based out of South Africa. And they usually will they work with the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime, and they would host this regional hackathons, and then they will host one big one, like in the US, like the global hackathon to people from different countries. And so I was like partner with that a little bit. And then when I came back to Gainesville, I started my master's. I wanted to do something in the east side of Gainesville because I've been in UF for almost 3 years, and I barely have been to the east side of Gainesville. And there are a lot of UF students that have not been to the east side.
I was going to say, there's a whole lot of people that applies to, and they also don't care to go there either.
Nope.
The east side is the black side for the people who are not familiar with the geographic landscape of Gainesville, Florida.
Yeah, they don't want them there. So
Yep. So I really wanted to do that. And so I wanted to start an after school program, which we ended up calling Tech Tuesdays, where we'd go and teach kids how to code in the east side of Gainesville. But I had zero experience. I had no idea what I was doing. I just wanted to do this thing. And then I knew, I found out about a few people that in the computer science department, professors that were doing the program, including my advisor. And so I prepared this whole pitch deck, a whole presentation.
Oh, wow. She built different.
I set up a meeting with Christy and Tim and pitched this whole thing for them. I remember thinking, oh my God, this is going to be great. Like I didn't need anything. I just needed some help with the curriculum and all of the stuff that I just had no expertise in. And I remember after the whole thing, she was like, oh, this is a great presentation, but I'm sorry, I can't, help you. I just moved here. I'm, trying to settle in. I don't have time to help you. But then I remember her mentioning, oh, but are you interested in like doing a PhD program? And I looked at her. She knows this clearly. I was like, no.
She's like, you're interested in the PhD.
Why?
Say that.
What are you talking about?
This is not what I'm here for. Like, why would you think?
Help me with my thing.
Exactly. So I was like, no, thank you very much. And then I went ahead, even though she said no, I went ahead and did the program anyway. So what we did was every weekend, I'll meet with some of my friends and we'll Google, YouTube, create a simple curriculum. And then Tuesday we'll go and teach it to the kids. And we did that consistently for a while. And then
I love that.
Yeah, that was fun. That was so cool. I miss doing that. And then fast forward to the year later, the summer, I was back in California interning. Then I get this random email and from somebody going, hey, I met you a year ago. Do you have some time to talk? I don't remember much about like our meeting since she told me no. So, and I was like, fine, I'll meet with you. Then I was in the office and we got on Zoom and then I saw that she came on. I was like, it's her. I was like, okay. I'll just listen to what she has to say. But why did I take this meeting? So we ended up talking for a while, and it was like great conversation. She has this project and that she thinks I'll be interested in. That was Air Sketch at that time. And I was like, okay, sure. And then she goes, oh, well, it's going to pay for your waiting grad school. And I was like, I'm in. free tuition. Yeah. And a stipend, totally in. You should have said that before anything else. So that was great because during my combined degree, the first half, the half that you take during your undergrad, you still get charged as undergrad courses.
Yeah.
So, but when you switch to the full grad program, and I had there were 36 credits, I took 16 during my undergrad, and then I had 10 left. Yeah, and the fun fact is you have to get like a B in all of those, otherwise they won't count. So
yes, because unlike undergrad, C's do not get degrees in graduate school.
Yeah, you need at least a B.
Yes. So it was the wildest time of my life, honestly, because I was taking the hardest undergrad classes, like business finance, or those of you that know, and business law. At the same time, I was taking my master's program. And another fact is the information systems master's program, it's not semesterly, it's modules. So you have 7 weeks, and there, 2 credits per module. So you have to get B's in double the number of courses.
Oh my gosh.
And so 3 weeks into class, you're already taking midterms. 3 weeks later, you're taking finals. And then you have 1 week in between. Then you start another module.
I don't even know where the room is, consistently after 3 weeks. And you're already in midterms. Wow.
Yep.
I have so many questions.
Okay, go.
One, you sound very self-driven, self-motivated. Community. Did you have people who helped to encourage you along this process, especially because you're like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. The times where you possibly could have done, or you're just like, I'm headstrong, I'm doing this, I don't care.
So it is a combination of both. I did have community, my host mom, and a lot of the women around me. When I came to America, even back home, just watching my mother do the things that she needed to do and get farther in her education than she would have ever done. And then coming to America, I was always in the midst of very, very high achieving women. So my host family, they have a lot of friends. When I was in California, I was living with my family friend who at that time was the CIO of Symantec. And now she's the CTGO of Honeywell. So it was just being around them, I guess, is just you get that fuel and that energy to you gotta push because you see some of the things that you want. I saw the things of the women that I wanted to be in each of them. But yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. Second question, Earsketch. That is a well-known computer science project. You want to just tell the folks, since this is a tech podcast, you want to tell them what Earsketch is?
Earsketch is an amazing project that was developed at Georgia Tech initially, where kids can learn how to code while making music. So the core idea is they write code and then they generate or remix different kinds of music. I think it's still publicly available for anyone that either has kids or I think even up until undergraduate, you can still use it to learn code, and it's developed in both Python and JavaScript. So you can learn both programming languages. And our lab joined in to help create a co-creative agent on Earsketch, and that's when I joined the project. It was the second leg of the project.
Nice. I just want to add Brian McGurko is one of the folks who Go Blue, Michigan, Ph.D. computer science.
Yes.
Et cetera, et cetera. Brian's awesome.
Yes. He is very scary. Yeah.
Scary.
It was a lot of intimidating people.
As a boss, I've never had him as a boss. I've just known him as a fellow PhD student. And then, hey, that's a really cool Earsketch. You don't.
Yeah.
So when I own any part of my life.
Exactly. When I joined the project, though, I was a master's student. So everybody was intimidated to me. Anyone doing a PhD. And I had no research background, by the way, zero. And so it was just everything was like gibberish for the most part initially. I had to go and learn all the details, had to learn all the statistics, and then I was in a lot of analyzing dialogue data. I had no background in linguistics or computational linguistics, so it was just a lot of learning.
So much. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. Now
Yep.
my eye is trying to attack
Oh,
me.
no.
So I'm so sorry.
Oh no.
So you learn about this ear sketch project. You say, great, you're paying my entire way through school. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yes.
And then
And then
It's a very long story. And then I joined the lab. And then I was going to do my master. It was the last year of my master's. So I was going to, go through the project.
wait, which masters? Because you got two.
Information systems. My combined degree, master's.
wow.
And then I was going to just get it done and move on. And halfway into it, like first semester, almost at the end of fall semester, then Christy, this is all her fault moving forward, was like, oh, you should apply for the Ph.D. program. And I was like, nope. And like, you should apply for the Ph.D. program. And I was like, no, ma'am. And so we kept on going back and forth, back and forth. I told her I wasn't going to get in, and I'm not rewriting my GRE, and I'm not doing none of that. And she said, no, just apply for it. Finally, I applied for it. And I was like, whatever it is, I felt very strongly that I wasn't going to get in. So, no harm, no foul. So then I applied, and I was very surprised and really shocked that I got in.
Why did you think you weren't going to get in? Like, you had already been
Right.
doing all the work. You had all the degrees.
Because I didn't have any computer science background. And I was told somehow that you couldn't get into any PhD program in the department without some sort of computer science background. Initially, I ended up learning that, it was different. But I thought that I just was not capable of getting in. And my GRE scores was not great. I'll be very honest about that. Because I took it during my combined degree program. They have you take the GRE in order to transition to the graduate program. And you had a timeline to take it. And I took it in between like my modules. Like I said, the way the modules are.
Yeah.
I did not have time to prepare. And I just knew I needed to get a cutoff. Exactly. I knew I needed to get a cutoff, and I was done. And so I made it to the cutoff that I needed for my program. And I'm not retaking this again. So yeah, it was just, and I did my research, and I'm like, this is not good enough. But yeah.
Wow. And then you got surprised when you were like, oh, they like me. They really like me.
I did. I was very shocked because when Christy told me, I was like, oh no, this is not how I saw this playing. And I was in the middle of taking a job also.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember this.
I had an offer of the job, and I was
it a good offer, or was it just an offer?
It was a pretty good offer. At least for that time, it was a really good offer. So, well, a family friend that I lived with that lived in California she moved to Honeywell, and she was like, "Oh, move to Honeywell with me," because she worked at Symantec, and that's how I got my first internship, and then I stayed with her the whole time. And yeah, so we're like, okay. She's kind of my bonus mom. So it was like, okay, let's all move to Honeywell. And, but it was a very hard decision to make. And I remember when I ended up making that decision, I was like, I can't believe I did this.
Oh.
Yep.
You decided to stay. So what made you stay?
Let's see. I think a couple of things, but primarily it was just, I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but I also felt like I owed it to myself to find out whether or not. I felt like it was a lot of push, like, when you're extending yourself beyond, but if you don't extend, you don't know where you're capable of, like what you're capable of. So I really, at that time, I guess I wanted to push myself to really test what I was capable of.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you found out many times over. Many times over.
Scary. Yeah.
Okay. So PhD program, were you still able to do Tech Tuesdays, or were you like, whew, can't do it? It's a lot.
Initially, I was still doing it.
Oh, man.
I wasn't supposed to do it, but I did it for a little bit. So actually, there were two phases of Tech Tuesdays. When I started working with the East Side, because it was closer to Gainesville. But then the kids that were staying after the program were not the kids that we were targeting. And I did a lot of like research around it because there's a lot of issues. There was a lot of issues with that, with everything doing an after school program. Because one, the kids had to go home. Some of them had to take the buses. They can't stay because then who's going to pick them up? And then some of them had jobs. So they had to go to work or they had to go back and take care of their siblings. So like the kids that we were targeting, we were not reaching out to. And even though I still, we still continued the program for about a year. Initially, it was just challenging. Then afterwards, I started reaching out more into the community, and then I ended up meeting up with the Reichert House. So the Reichert House is a place where the Gainesville Police Department have set out in the east side of Gainesville, where they primarily just boys. After school, they take them from school and they put them there, and it was kind of like training them and discipline and, and all of that stuff. So they don't go home and get into trouble, because the east side of Gainesville had a little bit of gang activity and all of that stuff. So then we ended up moving to the Reichert House for a bit, and that was so much fun. But then the people that I was working with ended up like most of my friends were the people in my master's program. They ended up graduating. I didn't have the help that I needed. But then, Chrissy and I decided to write the Camp Dialogues grant. And I remember they wrote the grant prior and it did not get accepted. So I said, okay, how about let's write the grant and make it clearly it's going to be for Black people. And they went back and forth and this and that. I was like, if we don't say that this grant is for Black people, like, I don't know. I wasn't really comfortable being in the project, but if you make it about Black people, I'm pretty sure it's going to be like valuable and important. And then we ended up, I joined and helped write the grant, and then the grant got accepted. And then we kind of did the summer camps in the East Side primarily for those kids.
Wow.
For three years. Yeah.
So you have so many experiences, like literally every step you're on, you're doing the next step. Like you're in undergrad taking master's courses. You're in master's stuff doing PhD research. You're doing PhD research writing grants. Like you always doing what's above and beyond. And you questioned yourself. Different. She real different.
I mean, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. In my head, I was just trying to learn and trying to do whatever I needed to do. I wasn't considering all of the other, parts of it. It's just like I needed to do something. I have to keep doing things. This
is wild. This is so wild to me. Like I
had no idea.
I love this. This is such a great, like when I find people who like have the same kind of energy I do about stuff, like, yes,
we're going to get it
Kyla
done.
And I are like doing the absolute most right now.
Yeah.
Absolute most.
And we love it.
And it's like, at least someone else is here to go through the chaos with me.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it.
Well, listen, like in your case, like you were not with others like you.
Yeah.
Right? Like I know what your lab looked like.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And I know that it's different when you don't have that level of community, right? Like I don't know that I would feel comfortable being as chaotic as I am with all the extra stuff that I try to do.
Yeah.
If I didn't have someone else in the background like, yeah, girl.
Co-conspirators. That's what I like to call it.
Like, what do you need me to do?
Yeah.
And it's not
I'll watch Amara.
And it's not lost on us that like literally you push back. Like some people would be afraid to tell their advisor, no, you need to do this or I'm out. Like some people feel that, they're dangling the carrot and, oh, I don't want them to take the carrot away, so I'm not going to push back. But you were like, no, I'm not doing this if this isn't part of it. And it got funded and you helped to write it. So,
that's so cool.
It took a lot. It takes a lot. And again, I have to say that I'm very lucky. I have an advisor who is to some extent open to a little bit of the pushback. You know, she has her own ways. But overall, you know, she has I guess she still has the intention, right? You just have to leverage the intention. I call it my Christy strategy. You just have to finesse her a little. She finesses you a lot. You have to just take a page out of her book. That's just what you do. And
For those of you listening, this strategy is called mentoring up.
Right. I was about to say, you
Right.
got to mentor up sometimes and be like, no, this is what you're going to do. Okay.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
Okay, so then, you know, you meet us. You have the moments, right? Like you get this level of like, I got the support. I'm going to finish. Like literally we had that meeting and then I was like, Gloria has graduated. I'm like, wait a minute. Like that was quick. Like I feel like it was less than 12 months later. Like she was done.
Let me tell you how I found out Gloria's graduating.
How'd you find
we
out?
report, you know, for part of our grant, we have to report like who is graduating each semester. And I always get an updated list from our advisors. And I was like, oh, can I have a list of everybody that's graduating? And she was like, Gloria. I was like, wait, the same Gloria I know? That just the one that's right there? She graduating?
I think you texted me about it actually.
And I was like, is this, wait, could someone please clarify?
like, did you know? And I was like, I only know because I saw a post on somebody else's timeline, like with photos and stuff. I would not have known.
Okay, funny story. That was, I can't believe that happened. I'm just going to be honest about that. I really cannot believe that happened. And I was talking to someone in my team. Because what had happened was
Another one of those.
What happened?
so last summer when I went to intern at Microsoft, and I was just in the middle of a lot of things, and I was just, there was a lot going on, and I struggled a little. I didn't struggle a lot, but my qualifying exams was a lot. I was interning, and then I didn't know, I knew I had to work on my proposal. I had bits and bits of ideas. I kept on going back and forth with Christy just so we can be on the same page. And then when I went for my internship, I was meeting with my manager and he was like, oh, when are you graduating? And I was like, next year. And then he goes, oh, really? And I was like, uh-huh. And I couldn't take it back because I said it. And but at that time, Girl Me has not proposed yet.
Wow. So, but does your manager have a PhD?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Pretty much.
You should know
Next
what the
year.
process
Next
is.
year.
Like, we never know. Like, until you have a proposal, that's when you kind of know. But you never know.
Yeah.
Well, he should have known. He shouldn't have been asking that question.
Right.
Like,
Number
sir,
one. And
That
two
was
and
also
three.
another experience. I didn't even think they were going to hire me because of the hiring freeze. And at the end of the internship, it was just like, you know, we're in a hiring freeze and thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you. Bye. And I was like, thank you too. I didn't know what I was doing here. It was a great summer, I guess. But just a weird internship experience. And then I came back and I was still struggling to do my, to kind of get my head straight back in the game and work on my proposal. And September 12th, a day after my birthday, surprisingly
you
got
have
the
the
offer.
same birthday as my mom. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. So literally the day after my birthday, I got the offer. And
Wow.
yeah. So somehow I had to finish my proposal. And a year, and
that's like a month after you finished the internship.
Right. They're like, by the way,
Yeah.
stay here, please.
You said 12 months. He was like, you know what?
I know.
First to market.
Right.
Okay.
Let's
like,
expedite this process.
if I ask first, no one else can have
I
her.
know.
Yes.
That's what they did to me. Like,
Yeah. but that is the cheat code. That is the cheat code, though. If you want to get out of your
That's
PhD
smart.
program, get a full-time offer.
Yes.
And things
That is
will
smart.
start moving.
Yes.
Quickly.
Really, yes, because you have no choice and you gotta get out. And so after that, then I came back and then I had to finish my proposal and propose in October. It was the longest month ever. And then that
see that.
happened, and then, try to finish my defense by,
You're like
March.
glossing over all this stuff. You're like, I proposed some stuff. I did the whole world, a
I'm
dissertation's
literally
worth of
Rolodexing
research
in my mind.
and then in a year, and then said, okay, I'm done. Now I'm going to go work at Microsoft.
I'm working with my students right now, and I'm a first-time faculty member, and I'm over here just like the amount of effort.
Yep.
Yeah.
I need like 3 Glorias.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, right?
She's like, what can I say?
We can talk about it.
Oh, okay.
I needed like 2 of myself at some point. I'm like, can I just clone me? I could do so much more if I could clone me. But I will be very honest. I did not. I'm doing better now, but I did not live a healthy lifestyle like at all. I was not taking care of myself. I was not sleeping at all. I don't encourage that, but it was a lot going on, and I was just so focused on the end, and that was it. And so it was a lot. I beat myself up a lot.
It's hard. I
Yeah.
mean, it's hard. Like you're making yourself write like a million words. Like
Yeah.
people don't realize how much writing and reading is involved with like those final documents that you have to submit, and like to do that in a very condensed time frame is like, you should be an academic, but that's a whole conversation for another day.
Right.
Okay, so you finish.
Yes.
What was your research about? Like, what was your topic?
It was a mouthful. It was investigating automated dialogue act classification, using cross-corporeal domain adaptation and federated transfer learning. So it was basically, I was exploring those 2 approaches to train or fine-tune models.
What approaches?
The first one is cross-corporeal domain adaptation. Is basically transfer learning, but playing around with the data while you're doing it. And
you love how she just glosses over very complex topics and subjects like it's peanut butter and jelly. Like it's just 2 plus 2. It's just 5 plus 7. Carry the 1.
Quantum physics.
It's just coefficient science.
Yeah, it really is. Honestly,
Brain surgery.
I finessed this PhD so bad.
Rocket surgery.
Yeah.
That's the one, Kyla. That's the one. There were 2 things. So yeah.
The second one is federated transfer learning. I was very interested in
And who
federated
is Fred?
learning.
Why are we frederating? Who is Fred?
Let her finish.
Federated transfer learning is basically also another extension of transfer learning, but the idea between both of them is going back to my previous work, is we do all this research and we collect data from studies, mostly from middle schoolers and high schoolers and their minors, and for most of our work we cannot share the data, and so we have very limited amount of data. We cannot train really good models because we have very little data. But then when transfer learning came out, it's super exciting. You can fine tune the models with a lot less data. But again, they're very, it depends on what the base model is and whether or not it fits in for the purposes and the goals that your downstream task. And for our downstream task, it's a classification task, which means you need to label data. So for the most part, we have to manually label the data. But again, the way we label our dialogue data, we have so many classes. And because we're trying to capture all the nuances in the collaborative dialogue, like, not just the intentions but the intended meaning behind the actual text, to capture within those dialogue acts. And those dialogue acts themselves, they're not generalizable. So to do that, first is to, cluster the classes and find more generic classes for all of those, and then use those to restrict the data. And then there's a huge issue of data imbalance, because you can have more statement in conversations and more questions, and there are more, the nuanced things like I'll say giving feedback or all of that. Just a lot less of those in the data set. So the cross-corporeal domain adaptation is basically to if I had one data set that has more or of one tag and less in another tag, can I train a model with that data and try to use it for the other data with the less of that particular tag? So that was the
okay.
purpose of
That
that
was that was very computer sciencey of you, person who said I didn't think that I had the computer science
And
background.
she did it all and wrote
to
about
do-
it. A 200-some page document about it.
Computer
In a
science research.
Not even
I'm
a
just
whole
saying,
year.
I'm just
Like,
saying.
it was what, September to May or to March?
Yeah,
actually. Yeah. And she doubted herself. That's all.
Make
I'm
it make
saying.
sense.
Make
Okay.
it make sense.
Anyways,
You guys are making me blush.
thank you for sharing
Yeah.
all about that.
So that's one part.
We
The
gotta
second
hear about
part.
There was a whole other part.
Yeah, so the
Okay,
second
right.
part.
Wait a minute.
If you have time, the second
Right,
part.
once you train
is
the
more
model.
exciting.
I have time. Okay, I have time. We have time.
So the second part is the federated transfer learning part. So the whole premise of federated learning is that you can train in different locations using different data. We can train one model. So I try to simulate that basically. So if researchers cannot share their data, they can train one model with federated learning. So basically you train a subset of the data and, you pass the same model around and everybody's trained the same, training, fine tuning the same model, and then you aggregate it. So the different
That's
aggregation
cool.
approaches.
So it's like, I don't see your stuff, but
Yes.
you help
Yeah.
to
You
contribute
send
to
the
the
weights.
overall
Yes.
project. That's
Yep.
cool.
Yeah. So you send the weights across and then you, again, test it, validate, and send more of the training. You keep on going around until you train a better model. So that's kind of the idea behind that. Yeah.
That is really
Interesting.
cool. How did you come up with that?
So I think I was reading some papers and then I stumbled across, no. Actually, I was in a class. No, I learned about federated learning in a class that I took with this ECE professor. Oh my gosh, I cannot remember her name.
It's okay.
But it was an
There's only a couple of hers.
Yeah,
that's true.
it was an education like data mining course. It was kind of a combination of computers, NLP, and biomedical engineering data. So they were like half and half CS and half BME people in the course. And it was like at the end of the course actually. And she's just like, oh, there's this cool approach that's brand new and getting traction called federated learning. And I was like, oh, I need to look more into that. And so I ended up just adding another layer of implementation to my stuff and then running that.
That's awesome. One time for professors updating their slides
Yes.
when new stuff comes out.
Yes.
So we want to
that's
hear too about like, okay, so you worked on this. I know the answer to this. I'm gonna ask a question like I don't know. So how does this compare to like what you're working on now at Microsoft? Like, how did you use these skills? Are you doing the same thing now?
Another. So, no, not at all. And so when I joined Microsoft, or when I applied for my internship, I applied for an applied scientist role, and a lot of people don't know about that role because it was not very common. But my goal was to not do research, and I didn't want to do a lot of coding, so it was kind of a happy medium. But when I got, because you interview with a lot of different teams, and honestly, you don't even know what team you're on until you start the internship.
Wow.
And I ended up on the speech team. So I have no background in speech whatsoever, and I ended up on a speech team. And so that was very interesting. And then, but I was working on a voice chat, which is like more of a collaborative conversational dialogue. And so it was slightly close to what I was doing at that time. But then transitioning now to just working full time on speech services is really, really like very different from what I've done. So most of the time, our team, because the way Microsoft keeps changing things, now we are the Azure AI services specifically for speech. So if you go on and if you've ever been on the Azure portal, now they call it AI Foundry.
Right.
There are different services like speech on our teams. Particularly, we have like speech to text, text to speech, closed captioning, transcriptions, different kinds of speech related services. So like a broader team handles that. So I'm on more of an engineering team. So we build on different kind of like the actual services based on what the customers and the clients want. So it's very Yeah, very, very different than
Yeah, because you had no customer or client in
No.
grad school. So like, what was that transition like? Because research where you're doing your specific topic versus still kind of research, but you have a client, you have things that you need to achieve for them.
Yeah, I think I think the thing that I would say it transfers, I mean, you learn a lot of skills as a PhD student, right? They're not like the direct, but the indirect skills that you learn, like researching, like, understanding problems, and dissecting those problems, and then finding solutions for them. So you learn all those skills. And those are the kind of things I said are more transferable for my job. For example, I had this customer who were building this brand new product, and they were looking for a particular solution. And it was like, we don't know if this is going to happen. It doesn't exist anywhere, but that's a good part of it. Then you're going like, okay, I will try different things and leverage different, knowledges that I have and try to put together something that might work. And then you end up showing it like, oh my God, we didn't think this was possible. So I guess they're very like the indirect skills are highly transferable, and those are the things I leverage. Yeah.
That's cool.
Transferable
skills.
Yes.
What's like the work-life balance difference between now, being full-time with the PhD at Microsoft versus being a grad student?
So overall in Microsoft, I think one of the best part of the company is that they do have great work-life balance. Not specifically my team. I'm very lucky, so lucky that every time I join something is always chaos, for whatever reason it is. So when I started, they decided that they were going to create this brand new service. It's actually called Content Understanding. You can look it up. We just released it at Microsoft Ignite. That's my first release. And
fancy.
Yeah, so they decided they wanted to put this together in 3 months. And it was a multimodal project. So we have different modality. There's speech, there's vision, there's image. So there's a lot of people on this project, and it's so hard to rank with people on the project. Oh my God. So then I got into this, and we were in the speech. We were supporting most of the speech related tasks. And it's just been chaos. It's been chaos up until November, up until Ignite. Even post Ignite, we were not sure.
How do we get invited to Ignite is my question.
Let's talk about that later.
It's a San Francisco connection. Like, I want to go to.
Let's talk about it later.
I asked the same question. Like, how do I get to go to Ignite? Like, I worked on this.
Oh my goodness.
But no, it would be great. It's a great, great, great event. I watched it online. And it was pretty cool to see like our product get highlighted and have the customers, be part of it as well. So it was fun. So my team particularly was a lot chaotic for the first few months that I joined. And another thing, again, that happens in corporate America, it's reorgs. So reorganizations or restructuring. I have had 2 reorgs since I've joined.
Wow, that's super short.
The first one happened 2 weeks after I joined. So the manager that I joined with is no longer my manager. So it's a huge change.
Goodbye, manager. But thank you for the job.
Thank you for hiring me. Okay, bye.
Yep. Yeah, so that happened. But overall, honestly, it's been great. Like, this is my last day, quote unquote, of work for the year. I'm taking the next 2 weeks off and not doing anything.
As you should.
And we have DTO, so you can take any time off. And it's great to be able to have that option. And again, my mother just moved from Nigeria, and a few weeks ago she was in the hospital. So I got to take time off to be in Florida for like an extended period of time. So yeah, it works.
Yeah, that's great.
Aww.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Oh man.
This has been amazing.
So we're towards the end of this like journey with you, Gloria, and like I keep wondering, like, what are you doing to like fuel you outside of work? Because I already know you trying to do the most.
She has Tech Thursdays in Redmond. No, I'm kidding.
I wish. I'm looking.
See, I knew it.
That's a good question. I'm trying. So after PhD, I decided, I wanted to slow down on a lot of things. And I think one of the things I do with work now is I stop work on Fridays. I close my computer. I don't open it till Monday. Like,
That's
nobody's paying me. I am not doing it. And so I have done that. Like, I maybe have worked maybe 1 or 2 Saturdays sparingly. But I've tried to like step away from work because I'm trying to reprogram my brain where it's not just work. Cause I got to a point where like literally like I have to do something. Otherwise I can't function. I guess I was addicted to work. Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing. It is a thing.
Yeah. So I'm trying to undo that a little bit more. I need to find hobbies. I don't have any yet. Yeah.
That is funny.
I'm sure you'll find something.
You will. There's so much to do. Like, and y'all have nice like greenery, and you can go hiking, and like it's just so pretty, and the air is just
her face is like.
I'm not even an outside person, and I love outside in the Pacific Northwest. Like,
look at Gloria's face. Gloria's face is saying,
or inside task.
I don't know that
also,
girl.
Gloria makes excellent margaritas, or the martinis. She makes excellent margaritas.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yes.
A nice inside task is great too.
My signature margarita still exists.
Yes.
I'm still doing it. Actually, I'm on a board of a nonprofit, and I'm gonna pitch that right now. That we're having a fundraiser in Claremont, January 24th. I can send y'all details. I actually do all the margaritas there, so this is the second year we're doing it, and that's like the highlight of it is the margaritas. And
what's the name of the organization so we can link it?
It's Family Matters of Central Florida. So actually, a little pitch. My guidance counselor from high school. She's been part of my life for the whole time. She runs this nonprofit, and she lost her husband last year, and that's where we started the fundraiser in his honor.
That's
but
awesome.
she does tutoring and counseling for kids in Central Florida area, like kids that don't come from poor backgrounds, basically, and they can't afford tutoring services, so they're free. Everything she does, she pays for it, and she's been basically paying for most of it out of her pocket.
Wow.
And she does it all now, like 3 times a week. And it's
That's
pretty
awesome.
cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to make people aware of?
Or like, how can people connect
how can
with
they
you?
connect?
Oh yeah, I mean, you can connect with me pretty much. I think LinkedIn. It's more professional. And for those that know me personally, also know my Instagram is just not really my name on there, so it's hard to find. But LinkedIn is always clear, and I'm very responsive. Yeah.
Oh,
Awesome.
well, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for taking the time to meet with us. We know you have a super, super busy schedule. This is your last day of real work, so we appreciate you taking the time to do this.
No, this is the best thing that I've done, like, this week. Probably this year, actually. So this is gonna...
I'm glad that we got a whole year instead of a week.
I
but
know.
Yes.
she was like, wait a minute.
I was like, wait a minute. Now that I think about it. And we are at
It
the
really
end. So
is.
she has other weeks, like 50-something other weeks to compare to this. And we're the best.